Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 stocks that I am watching for potential swing trades back to the upside. If you guys have been paying attention to the market, we had earnings on quite a bit of companies. A few of these stocks that we're going to be looking at today have fallen post earnings back to some very important technical levels. If you guys remember last quarter, we had great earnings come out from a lot of companies. Most of them fell off due to the earnings just because of how high they were coming in, almost at all-time highs. And we are seeing a very similar reaction this time around. We're getting decent earnings. We're getting drops on these good tech stocks coming back to important technical levels. And I want to see if I can catch the opportunity back to the upside. Some of these stocks today are moving down off earnings. A few others have just been sort of moving back down to important levels. So I want to share them with you today. These are some important opportunities, some things that we need to be looking at. So I want to share it with you, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you do, after watching, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, press that bell notification so that you guys know every single time that I post and every single time that I go live. So guys, wasting no time, let's go ahead and jump right into this. The first thing we're going to quickly review here is the NASDAQ, because this is going to be crucial for some of the stocks that we're going to be looking at today. If the NASDAQ is not able to make some more highs next week, then most of these swing trades probably will be invalidated, because the NASDAQ will most likely drive any tech strength, and most of the stocks we're looking at today will be tech stocks. So we're definitely going to want to see some upside here on the NASDAQ if these potential swing trades will work out over the next week, maybe over the next 2 weeks. Now, looking at the NASDAQ here on your screen, you guys can see that there's a little bit of a flag forming here. This is the 4-hour chart. The green line is the 100 day. So you can see we have found some support here on the 4-hour right at that green line, and we're sort of making a little bit of a flag pattern. We also have support here at these previous structure points back from around 14,800. So you have right here, you have right here, and you have a little bit of a double bottom right here. So we have definitely some support here on the NASDAQ. A nice push higher on Friday after that dip on Thursday. You guys can see that right here if I zoom in. So we definitely have a little bit of support here on the NASDAQ. And if we can break this flag next week, if we can get something like this out of this flag pattern on the NASDAQ, then I think these swing trades could be potential plays. So if we go to the daily chart real quick, just because I love looking at the daily, because it really is a good, strong level to look at, good, strong time frame to look at. And what you guys will notice is that we are holding the 20-day very nicely here. So the 20-day on the daily chart has held 3 times here in the past. So 1, 2, and 3. And on Friday, you can see we got a very positive reaction off that 20-day moving average on the daily chart. So I like that. I think that is bullish. I think this dip could be another opportunity. And if we can get this push through this flag pattern next week, then I think a lot of these stocks that fell off earnings could be good plays. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the first one. And the first one is going to be the biggest one, and this is Amazon. So Amazon, you guys know, if I go to the 4-hour, we can see what happened to Amazon on earnings. This was probably the biggest fall that we've seen so far this earnings season, and that was Amazon here on this earnings. Now, I don't like catching falling knives, so I'm not going to just say buy Amazon on Monday and it's going to go up, right? This could have more downside, but I want to show you some of these levels to just show you that maybe we could start finding some support. The first level that I want to show you is this uptrend here on the 4-hour. You guys can see we have been holding this uptrend, and right when we came to it on Friday, we started to find a little bit of support. So this uptrend is trying to hold right now. If this uptrend is able to hold up, if we can consolidate here at this uptrend, maybe you could play this back to the upside. If you go to the daily chart, you guys can see this uptrend is here as well. So here's the daily chart. Here is the uptrend on Amazon. It has bounced off of it 4 times in the past, and we moved right back down to it on Friday after that earnings. There is a huge gap on the daily chart that maybe it wants to fill just a little bit here on Amazon. Also, if we delete this uptrend, you guys will see that we are right near that 100-day moving average on Amazon. If we can find some support at the uptrend, at the 100-day, and try to make this gap fill play, this could be a big opportunity. Also, on top of that, you have some previous structure points in the market. You can see right around here. You have some previous tops, 1, 2, 3, 4, previous resistance. Maybe that resistance will turn into support right here at the 100-day. So you have 3 confluences here on Amazon. You have an uptrend right here. You have a 100-day moving average, and you have some previous structure here on the market. Maybe we can start to find some support. If the NASDAQ is strong next week, I would expect there to be some relief here on Amazon. So I'm definitely going to be watching Amazon. Amazon is definitely a big name. Option contracts are expensive. So if you don't have the biggest account, you'd probably want to look past this. Or you could play some debit spreads. You can play some credit spreads saying that I don't think Amazon is going to drop below X amount. You could play that credit spread and try to play it that way. But either way, just showing you the technicals here, Amazon has dipped down really nicely for us to the 100-day, to an uptrend, and to some previous resistance, potentially turning into support. This could be a big opportunity right here around 3,300 on Amazon. So that is the first one. I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of this coming into next week. Let's go ahead and get into the next one, which is going to be Netflix. So we know Netflix is a pretty range-bound stock, right? Not much movement here, really been sideways for quite some time. Now, even though Netflix has been pretty sideways, there is a level that I'm currently watching on this. Been talking about this for about a week now, watching this thing, seeing if we can get some type of bullish confirmation, some upside here on Netflix. We can see we had a gap down on previous quarter's earnings. We sort of consolidated. We filled that gap back up to the 557 level. That is where that resistance really came in. So you can see, look at this big time resistance up here at 557. We sold back off. Now, where are we finding support? We are finding support right at this previous structure where this gap down ended up. So you can see gap down ended up right around 514, 515 per share. We moved up, broke that level, and what are we doing right now? We are retesting this level. So a break and retest of this 515 has some support back where this gap down occurred. If Netflix can hold up here at this 514, 515 and start to get some bullish momentum, I think Netflix could try to push back towards this 557. I am watching this closely. I'm waiting to see when are we going to get a nice big breakout candle, because as soon as I see something with some really strong momentum here on Netflix, I want to see if I can play it off this very nice break and retest. Right here, a break, a retest, and I'm looking to see if I can play this thing back to the upside, holding support at this previous structure point around 514, 515 on the daily chart. If we go to the hourly chart, you guys can see for the last few days, we have been consolidating at this level. So if we can get a break above some of these highs right here, maybe a high right around 524, 525, if we can get above this level and start to break out here, I want to see if I could play this on a swing trade back to the upside. So that's the second one. That is Netflix. Definitely some support here. This is a little bit of a quad bottom. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Finding support here 4 times in this little demand zone that I have been watching. Can Netflix next week get some movement off this level? That is the number 2 one that I'm going to be watching. Number 3 is PayPal. PayPal is one that has moved lower off earnings. If we go to the daily chart, we can see PayPal had a very important level here. Let's go ahead and clean this up and redo this analysis. So PayPal had a very important resistance level right here around 275, 276. You guys can see that from here, and another rejection here. So this was a very tough level. Now, in the middle of June, we got that push through. We continued to all-time highs. Now on earnings, we are retesting this 275, 276. This could be a very nice break and retest, previous resistance turning into support here on PayPal. If PayPal can consolidate a little bit next week and start to push off this retest level, potentially filling this gap down that we got off earnings, this could be another great break and retest swing trade opportunity here on PayPal. So this is number 3. You guys can clearly see previous resistance back in April and March, breaking out, retesting that level. If we can get a break and retest, some strength on the NASDAQ, this could be another great opportunity here on PayPal. Let's see if we can get that move off this 275 level. That is number 3. Number 4 is a little bit difficult, but it's one that I continue to watch. A little bit more difficult of price action here on this stock, and that is going to be Airbnb. Airbnb, recent IPO, has had some trouble in the past, but what you guys will notice here on the chart, we have a very nice double bottom that has formed here on Airbnb right around $133 per share. We came back down right to around previous IPO levels here. We came back down to 133, found some support, moved off of it. We did move higher, started to lose a little bit of momentum up here around 154, right in this area, but now we have moved back down and retested that 133 level, and after retesting that level, look at this strong reaction that we have gotten. Now, is there any opportunity for us to potentially play Airbnb back towards these previous resistance levels? I don't know for certain, but I definitely want to be watching this. Right here around 154 would be the opportunity to potentially take profits if we get a push back into this level. Now, one thing I'm a little bit careful about Airbnb is that if we start to get a little bit more virus news coming out, if we start to see a little bit of more panic around this coming out back into the market, Airbnb may be one that struggles from that news because traveling would be limited. And Airbnb obviously makes money off traveling, right? So there is a little bit of external macroeconomic factors working against Airbnb potentially, but the technicals do look good for a nice little double bottom here. Let's see, can Airbnb try to move back into this 154, 155? And of course, if Airbnb can break this previous level, there is definitely some upside here. So if we can break this area right here around 154, 155, there is opportunity back towards these previous lows. You guys can see low, a low, and a low. Maybe there is movement back up to around this 167, 170. So I wanted to show this one to you because I have a really nice double bottom here on the daily chart. 1 and 2, double bottom. Really strong reaction off of it. Can Airbnb move higher? Another thing to be aware of is also that earnings are approaching in the middle of August. So maybe this is a play before earnings. Maybe there is a run up into that earnings, or maybe a safer way to play it is to wait for that earnings to pass and see what happens post earnings and then play this. But either way, wanted to bring this up in today's video. Nice double bottom, maybe a place where we find some support. Last but not least is going to be another pretty volatile stock, and that is going to be Upstart. Upstart has been pretty hot. A lot of momentum in this name. Definitely a lot more volatile than some of these other names like Amazon, PayPal, Apple, some of those names. Upstart is definitely one that's pretty volatile. But I wanted to show this to you because look at this uptrend that Upstart is on. And every single time we have came back to this uptrend, we have had some really big reactions to the upside. So we've been consolidating for some time now. This is almost a month, actually a little bit more than a month. We have consolidated around this 125, 130 area. We're coming back to this uptrend. We held it very nicely right here. And if we can push out of this uptrend, push out of this little consolidation right around 134.50, you guys will see these tops, 1, 2, and 3. You can see these resistance levels right there. If we can break above that 135, I'm going to think that Upstart gets some momentum and maybe pushes again here on the daily chart. So number 5 is Upstart, 100-day moving average, holding it right there. Nice uptrend here. You're starting to get a push higher. Now, the one thing to be aware of, obviously, is going to be earnings. That is around the 9th or the 10th of August. So that could be a very volatile time. Not sure I'd want to trade through that. But if we get any movement into those earnings or post earnings, if we get that break here through 135, I definitely can see some momentum here on Upstart. Watch this uptrend, watch the 100-day, a nice pullback on Upstart, and one that I would definitely keep on your watch list here into the coming weeks. So guys, those are 5 stocks that I am watching next week, looking at some really strong technical levels, some stocks that I think you should be watching. Now, of course, you have to understand when doing technical analysis, macroeconomic factors, big news articles can always make technicals irrelevant. You have to know that. You have to know the risks. And that's why when you come into these trades, you put on calculated risk. You're using technical levels. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That is what trading is all about. So we'll look to see if the technicals hold next week. If they don't, if the NASDAQ continues to fall, if we see some macroeconomic things go on that causes the market to dip, then we have to know that some of these setups could be invalidated. But just looking at technicals, looking for opportunities, sharing them with you here on the channel. So if you come watch the YouTube channel, I'm going to share with you the stocks that I'm watching. You can use that information, maybe make some plays off of it. If not, if you don't like it, so be it. But hopefully you get some education from the videos. If you enjoyed today's video, press that like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out the videos, helps out me continue to grow this channel, helps me stay motivated to continue to pump out some content for you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.